Hey folks, we're now going to try a conceptual exercise. And specifically what we want to show you is how to do the research regarding the standards. Always important to understand the research tool so that you can come up with the right answer and successfully pass the CPA exam. So let's begin. For purposes of the CPA exam, the main reason students need to know the professional standards is for research tasks in the task-based simulations. Many students find research and auditing difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over it. We're going to walk through some of the specific items associated with this. So let's take a look here. First of all, as we read the question, we first think of the best keyword to use to find the answer. The best keyword in various cases has to be considered. So in this particular problem, where we see this question, it says, during the course of your audit of the company for year 2, you identified that the company had purchase transactions and they accounted for 28% of material purchases for the year. Management has declined to disclose the related party transactions according to the guidance, which is provided by the AICPA's professional standards to address this situation. So as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking to myself, all right, what's the best word? And I'm thinking disclosures, and in fact, inadequate or deficiency in disclosures. Note that the scenario didn't directly say either of those words, but they did say decline to disclose, but they didn't use the word disclosure in this case. However, you need to think of how the standard would phrase that particular topic, not necessarily how it's always directly phrased in the question. Often the question will give you the term, but not necessarily. So then we are going to look at the literature. So in this case, we're going to do our search. And when we do our search, this is our basic search, and we're going to take a look at some results associated with it. You'll notice here when we click on Authoritative Literature tab, to search for the keyword, we highly recommend, by the way, the advanced search feature. For example, in our A1 simulation tab 7, if you type in inadequate disclosures into the basic search field, you'll get 38 results showing up. On the other hand, if you click on advanced search and type in inadequate disclosures containing all these words field, only 2 results show up. So that's your advanced search field that we're going to see. You'll see here, you have 20 of them, not very, very good. When you go to the advanced search result, you're going to see that you only had 2. When we click on and look at the first of these 2 items, it clearly doesn't look very helpful. We go back to the search results and look at the second result. The first match showing up does not look helpful, so hit next match. And then on this one looks like it might be what we are looking for. We read through a couple of the paragraphs and decide that it is indeed what we're looking for. And in this case, as we click on that, you can see the following items. It says right here, an audit of a complete set of general purpose financial statements, comparative, prepared in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States. The financials have inadequate disclosures. There's my buzzword that I'm looking at. The auditor has concluded that 1, the practicable to present the required information, and the effect of such an item is that an adverse opinion is appropriate according to the audit reports. We jot down the reference, AUC 705.A32, and we go back to the research tab. When we go back to the research tab, we note that the question is discussing a non-issuer. So we expect that to find the guidance in AU-C. Notice the letter C. This can give us more confidence that we found the correct reference. Also note in this particular item that it gave us more confidence about it. Also, we sit there and say that the AUCs have been the most commonly used location for most of the CPA exam questions. So now, just some general tips. Sometimes it's helpful to use some of the terminology used in the research question when inputting the search criteria, but not always. You may need to keep trying different keywords if the first doesn't work. It can be helpful to split the screen, horizontally or vertically, so that the student may view the question and the literature at the same time. Remember, students should read carefully, right? Remember the call of the question to ensure they answer the exact question that's being asked. For example, a question may ask for the actual report example rather than the wording to be used in the report. Typically, the required wording and the example report appear in different areas of the guidance. Other common questions? Well, we should let you know that the authoritative research literature appears in the simulation portion of the exam. Sometimes students ask if they have to memorize all of the guidance. Our response to that? No. But knowing what guidance applies to what type of engagement can be very helpful. Sometimes students also want to know if the authoritative literature is available when answering other simulation questions. It is available, but relying on the research for each simulation question may eat up valuable time and not be the greatest test-taking strategy. So hopefully with all of that, you have a better understanding of how the research works, and we're now ready to try an exercise.